Well, I want to welcome everyone to our live Saturday morning presentation. Synergy Worldwide has this tool that I stumbled across about a month ago, and it's called Your Path to Prosperity Workbook. This tool is excellent. I've only been involved in 2 network marketing companies in my lifetime. The first one that I got involved with is a company called Bodywise International. They still operate. They're out of California. I got attracted to them when I used to have my health clubs. But one of the things that Bodywise International did is they had a workbook. And they didn't just give you the workbook, but they actually had ongoing seminars where they would come in and they would have you for a weekend and they would take you through their training workbook. And it was an eye-opener in terms of helping you to understand the industry and helping you to understand the things that you needed to do to be successful in your network marketing business. This book that Synergy Worldwide has created, it's 66 pages long. It's just excellent. This has such great information in it. There's no way that I'm going to be able to impart all this information to you in the time that we have. So I want to highlight some things that are within this book. But I could see this as a real tool that Synergy Worldwide could do, especially going forward when, COVID-19 is, we're not out of it yet, but we certainly are returning back to a greater level of normality than what we had before. But they really could help develop distributors by teaching the information that's in this book. And whether they do it online or whether they do it in face-to-face meetings, that's what Bodywise International did. At that point in time, they didn't have Zoom and they didn't have online platforms. But there's this aspect of one-on-one where you're in the same room with a bunch of other distributors, learning how together you can strengthen your business. And so this workbook is just excellent. So I want to take time to go through this book and highlight some things in it. Let's start with the table of contents, just so you understand the scope of what's in this document that Synergy Worldwide, this PDF that they've created. Chapter 1, the mindset for success. Chapter 2, defining your why, discovering your vision. Chapter 3, the prosperity mindset. Chapter 4, choosing your path to prosperity. Chapter 5, the power of relationships. Chapter 6, invite, experience, enroll. Chapter 7, becoming a pathfinder. Leadership skills to help you strengthen your team. Chapter 8, time management. And then Chapter 9, success. And so I want to start on page 1 of this booklet. And I want to focus on page 1 on this first middle paragraph that they have in this workbook. We're going to talk about 2 things. 1, creating a mindset to succeed, and 2, building a skill set that creates lasting prosperity. Now, we do this Saturday training program. And this Saturday training program is every Saturday of the month. We have something that we highlight. Judy and Bob do a fantastic job in helping us build a mindset, leadership development. Currently, they're using material from Simon Sinek. They've used material in the past from the Slight Edge, from a lot of great other authors that are out there, like Maxwell Grant, and not Maxwell Grant, but John Maxwell, just a wide range of different people to help us with our mindset. Well, there's some really excellent things in this document, this PDF, with helping people to set up the proper mindset to be successful. And then the other thing that we try and do on Saturday is help you build your skills, either skills in using marketing material that either Synergy Worldwide has created or that we've created through videos or other documents that we've created, skill sets like the art of asking questions. There's just a bunch of things that you can do to improve your skill set. And when you combine your skill set with your mindset, you really can then begin to drive the growth of your synergy business. Moving on page number 3 of this document, again, I want to come back and highlight this thing from Tiffany Peterson. Quote, mindset plus skill set equals results. So it's a sum of two different things that you need if you want to maximize your results. Your mindset plus your skill set is what's going to create your results. And if you have, if I don't have a skill set, doesn't mean that I can't have results, but it will not be as great if I don't combine it with a mindset. Or if I just have a skill set and don't have my mindset properly, again, I could still have some results, but they're not going to be as great as combining these two things, mindset and skill set, to give me the best opportunity to create results for my synergy business. Now, I want to skip a couple pages here down to page number 6. And as I go through this information, if people have questions or if you have comments that you would like to make, please feel free to unmute yourself and add your input. There's this whole section on page 6, which is all about overcoming fear. Now, I don't remember if it was from my time in Bodywise International or whether it was a course that I took after I was involved with them by an independent organization, all designed to help you be successful in marketing. But I learned this acronym for fear: false expectations appearing real. So a lot of times our fear is about things that are not truly true. They're fiction. And so one of the things I like about this document that Synergy Worldwide has is they talk about acknowledging the fears that you have, writing them down. And then, are those fears fact or are they fiction? If they're fact, well, then it's real, but typically you can find something that can overcome that. If it's fiction, then that's exactly what it is. It's not real. It may be real in your mind, but it's not real in life. It's not something that's going to keep you from accomplishing what you're setting yourself out to do. So it's really important for you to be able to list the things that are holding you back, the fears that you have in your synergy business or anything in life, and finding out whether it's really a fact or whether it's just fiction. Because fiction can change, and facts, you can always find a workaround. Now, continuing on page number 7, they have this thing called limiting beliefs and learning how to reframe for success statements. Again, it's an excellent document in helping us to understand how we can take some of our limiting beliefs and use a process to reframe those things. So you can see from an example standpoint, they have, I'm not smart enough to grow a business. Well, you can reframe that. I have access to everything I need to grow my business. And we really do. I mean, unlike maybe 30 years ago, where you didn't have the kind of access to information that we have today, and the access to speakers and people who are, what would be considered experts in the things that we are doing in the business world, you can go on YouTube. So for example, I could say I'm not smart enough to fix my water heater. Okay. So I could go on YouTube and I can access multiple videos to show me how I could actually go downstairs where my water heater is at and drain it, disconnect it, and install a new water heater if I wanted to. I can learn all that stuff. You can basically learn any skill set that you would need to build your synergy business just by going onto YouTube and typing in the search bar whatever the item is that you want to learn, and you can find a YouTube video. And I bring up YouTube because it's visual. You can, not only do they tell you and talk to you, but they visually show you what you're doing. So for me as a visual learner, if I can see what you're doing, I can replicate what needs to be done. Or there's other places that you can go that you can, again, get coursework, and you can be able to, again, learn a skill set. So this whole aspect of limiting beliefs that we have that keep us from being successful, we can reframe them in today's world. Continue on page number 11. They make this statement. Knowing how you want to feel is the most potent form of clarity you can have. Now, when I read that statement, I needed to think about that. Knowing how you want to feel is the most potent form of clarity you can have. Well, how does that apply to my synergy business? Do I want my synergy business? I mean, how do I want my synergy business to feel? Do I want it to feel like I'm helping people improve their health? Do I feel like I want my synergy business to provide income so my family can benefit? Do I feel that one is more important than the other? So once you begin to work through some of these feelings that you have about your synergy business, it helps you begin to get clarity to the things that you need to do to help bring that to focus and make that central to the success of your synergy business. Continuing on page 12, they have these 3 statements. Do you want abundant health solutions to be readily available to you and your family? Do you want to help family and friends experience quality health products and find alternative ways to support their family, both in product and financial resources? And third, do you want to build a strong and sustainable income to be able to bless your family, but also find ways to give back to humanitarian projects with both time and money? Each one of those questions creates a higher level of commitment in terms of how you grow and sustain your synergy business. And the way that they have this workbook designed is those 3 questions are going to fit into, when we get to page 28, A, B, or C. How do you see yourself building your synergy business? A, B, or C? So again, what I like about this document is it's a document that is a step-by-step process in helping people to develop the proper mindset that they need to grow their synergy business to the level that they want it to be. For example, there's a big difference in time commitment between question number 3 and question number 1, which again we'll come back to when we look at A, B, or C in terms of how you structure your time and how you use your time in your synergy business. Going on to page number 19, and you can see as we go down here, there's just a tremendous amount of information. Robert Kiyosaki, I think I said his last name properly, quote, "The single most powerful asset we have is our mind. If trained well, we can create enormous wealth." So what happens in page 19 is there's different statements about your concept of money. What is your mental movie, or what is your thoughts about money? And it's really key because some people see money as the root of all evil. Others people see money as just a tool. So I'm going to give you an example. When I had my health club businesses, we typically did over $1 million a year in business. We also had close to $1 million worth of expenses. It could be overwhelming, but from a money standpoint, it's just where you put the dot and the commas. So whether it's $1, $100, $1,000, $100,000, or $1 million, the principles of business are the same. Your income versus your expenses is what's going to tell you whether you stay in business or not. So if my income side is 100,000 and my expense side is 200,000, I'm going to be out of business. If my income side is 100,000 and my expense side is 50,000, I have a nice profit. And then what do I do with that profit? What do I use it for? How do I use that money to leverage other opportunities for my family and friends and the things that I'm interested in? So again, this part of this document that Synergy Worldwide has created is really important to help people get the proper perspective of money, and that money is just a tool to help you to succeed and leverage positive things in your life. Now, going on to page number 20, they again take this whole aspect of what is your impression about money and begin to help you better crystallize it in your mind where you're currently at. Because until you understand where you're at, you don't know how to get to where you want to be. So if I understand where I'm at and I understand where I want to go, I can begin to see both the distance, and I can also begin to see the things that I need to change to be able to help me get there. Now, some people have problems with money. Doesn't matter how much they make. You have people who make $50,000 a year, and you have people who make $500,000 a year, and they both have the same issues. They don't have enough money. And how can a person who makes $500,000 a year be in a position where they don't have enough money? It's because they just don't understand how to use money properly, how to control money rather than money controlling them, how they can control money. Savings, being able to, again, do all the different things. So again, this section of this document helps people begin to crystallize where they're at with regards to money and finances, and what do they need to begin to do, especially if they're, I won't say negative, but their reality about money is skewed towards a pathway towards less success than a pathway towards greater success. Kind of, it's the slight edge aspect. You don't arrive overnight, you arrive over time. And then on page 22, they get into this whole aspect of mindset. Scarcity mindset, abundance mentality. So this would be a great, when I look at scarcity mindset, it reminds me of my wife, Sherry. Just simply because she grew up in poverty. She grew up in a life that was unstable. moved from home to home to home because they couldn't afford, so they had to move to the next place to stay ahead of the creditors. So when I met Sherry, this whole aspect of money for her, this scarcity mindset was really a challenge for her because I didn't have a scarcity mindset. I grew up in a home where my father had his own business. I had this aspect of you could be whatever you want to be. You can be as successful as what you want to as long as you're willing to put in the time and effort. And we live in America. And because we live in America, we have the opportunity to change what we're doing and be successful. So just because something doesn't work doesn't mean that the rest of your life won't work. You can change and be successful. It does take time, but this whole aspect of worrying about money, I mean, that's the easiest thing you can do in America is you can make money. In today's world, it's just amazing to me. I go around and I see signs, people looking for workers, actually willing to pay sign-on bonuses for people to come to work for them. You didn't see stuff like that before. We live in a state currently where money's not an issue. There's plenty of jobs that are out there that you can get good, so you can always create money. That's never the issue. It's always learning how to maintain your money. And so I came from a disciplined lifestyle of understanding that you can make money, but you also got to be disciplined in how you spend your money so that you always have more money than what you spend. So that's an abundant mentality. And again, my wife has grown immensely in this whole aspect of not being limited by a scarcity mentality, but understanding that this abundance mentality is what allows you to be able to bless other people by the finances that you're able to create and properly hang on to because you control your expense side. Continuing on in this document, we come down to page 25. And I really like this page 25 because it asks this thing here. Our history has shown that people typically join Synergy Worldwide for one of three reasons: product, purpose, prosperity. And then they have these questions. Which one of the three P's initially drew you to Synergy Worldwide? I can easily answer that: product. Wasn't interested in prosperity at all from Synergy Worldwide. That's never driven me. Prosperity never drives me in the things that I do. It's just prosperity is an outcome, but it's not a driving force. Product in Synergy Worldwide is what drove me or drew me to Synergy Worldwide. Which one of the three P's keeps your interest in Synergy Worldwide? Product and purpose. Those two things that as I have experienced the products and the benefits from the products of Synergy Worldwide, especially Pro Arginine Plus and nitric oxide, that has created my purpose. Being able to educate people on how they can use nitric oxide therapy to improve a wide range of cardiovascular health issues. Now, last week we did a presentation on nitric oxide therapy, and I shared with you that I'm almost ready. In fact, I am now ready to do a presentation at the end of this month on L-arginine, nitric oxide, and Alzheimer's disease. When you see that presentation at the end of this month, you're going to understand how critically important L-arginine and nitric oxide is to cognitive function, your brain health. And part of what I'm going to share is also going to spill over to diabetics. So I can now see doing a video on how L-arginine and nitric oxide is critically important to diabetics with regards to glucose metabolism, because it's critical to brain metabolism or brain function, cognitive function. So again, by being involved in Synergy Worldwide, being attracted, what initially drew me to Synergy was the products, experiencing the benefits of those products, and then looking at what those products do in terms of helping you to improve your health. That has created my purpose for being with Synergy Worldwide. And so those 2 points are what drive me to continue with Synergy Worldwide, and the prosperity aspect becomes a result of product and purpose. Continuing on, they have now on page 28, path A, path B, or path C. As they built their document, they are helping people to get to the point. How do you see yourself? Are you just a user, path A? Are you a sharer, path B? Or are you a builder leader, path C? Now, you need to define how you see yourself. But once you understand how you see yourself, if you see yourself as a builder leader, but you're only doing the activity levels of a user, 3 to 5 hours per week, 1 class per month, 30 or 10 calls per week, there's no way that your commitment of time and effort is ever going to get you to become a builder leader. And so you'll be frustrated. Your time you spend in Synergy Worldwide won't give you the outcome that you're looking for, and you're just going to get frustrated. It tells you if you want to be a path C builder leader, you're going to need to spend 20 to 40 hours per week, 4 to 6 classes per month, 30 calls per week, 3 team members holding classes. Holding classes is using this document or bringing people into our Saturday training programs where you don't just show up, you get your 3 team members to show up with you every Saturday to Saturday training. Or if you just want to be a sharer, then again, it gives you the amount of time and the things that you need to be doing to be successful at that level of your Synergy business. So I really like this page because it helps to clearly identify for yourself and any new prospect that you bring in the Synergy Worldwide. How do you see yourself? Are you a user, a sharer, or a builder leader? And once they've identified themselves, then are you willing to make the commitment of putting in the necessary time and effort to achieve how you see yourself? Continuing on, we come to the great Zig Ziglar, page number 31. You don't build a business, you build people, and then people build the business. And it's a great quote because, again, what are we involved in? We're involved in network marketing. To be successful in network marketing, I've got to talk to people. Whether I'm going to be product focused, business focused, or a combination of both, I still got to talk to people. And so it begins to help you understand where those people are located, how you can find them, and begin this process of understanding how to create conversation. So I come down to this page on page 33. We've taught this several times in the past, the Saturday presentation called The Art of Asking Questions. That was one of the biggest things that helped me in developing my BodyWise business and then transferring what I learned into building my Synergy business. The art of asking questions. Because if I can master that skill, I can create conversation. And I can also direct that conversation for a positive outcome, or at least understand whether it has any potential for a positive outcome. That if I'm focused on product and I understand how to properly ask the right questions, I can begin to create a conversation that will help me understand whether the person is interested or not in improving their health. And if they are, what are their challenges? And once I understand their challenges through the art of asking questions, do I have something that could help them in the synergy lineup? And if so, understanding that one big question that we try and teach in the art of asking questions is, if I could help you with your blood pressure issues, would you be interested in looking at a video on how nitric oxide can naturally address that? And then depending upon the outcome of that question, yes or no, then if it's a yes, I can get their email address and I can send them a tool to do the heavy lifting for me to help them understand how nitric oxide therapy could naturally address their high blood pressure. Or when I begin to do my next video on diabetics and how L-arginine and nitric oxide help glucose metabolism, what's the biggest issue that diabetics deal with all the time? Glucose metabolism. It's the underlying problem, both in causing damage as well as how you could correct it. There'll be a video resource tool that if you, again, come into a conversation, person discloses that they have diabetes, what are you doing to help yourself control your blood sugar? You're doing a lot of medication. Would you like to learn a natural way that could possibly help you with your blood sugar control? Hey, I got a great video on how L-arginine and nitric oxide can help you with your glucose metabolism. Would you like me to share that video with you? So this whole place here on page 33 is just great because it begins this process of helping people understand how to begin to ask the right questions to shape the conversation that can lead to the potential product user or business builder. Page 50 or 41, we get into what they call reframe. So tips to encourage your potential users and builders to take action. So it begins this whole process of things you don't want to say versus things that you want to ask. It's all about reframing. So often in the past, would you like to come to a party sometime? No, not really. You're done. As opposed to reframing that. We're having a party next Thursday. Are you available? I don't know. Let me look at my calendar. Would you like to try some products? No, not really. You're done. Would you like to try, in this case, they have try a Purity microbiome support protein shake. You know, I would reframe that question because most people most likely wouldn't understand what a Purify microbiome support protein shake is. So I would reframe that if I'm dealing with a person who's taking a protein shake. I would reframe that. Hey, would you like to try a gluten-free, vegan protein shake that's going to extend your appetite for 2 hours, especially with great energy and no bloating? Well, now they might be interested. So again, it's all about this whole process of learning how to reframe your questions so that you can increase your probability of success. Coming to page 43, There's common objections that we have. David Munoz has done an excellent job in some of his presentations on Saturday of helping us understand how to overcome objections. Again, it's too expensive, or I don't have the money for these products. It gives you ideas on how you can overcome that objection. I don't have time, or I already have a job. Great. So it helps you understand how to, again, overcome the objection by reframing the information, the story, so you can help them see that there's a potential. We don't have enough time in today's presentation to, again, go through this. This is why this document needs to be taught in like a ongoing class session. It's something that Synergy Worldwide could do, where they had a weekend seminar to help people go through this workbook. This PDF would really help them in growing their synergy business and helping to begin the process. You're not going to get these skill sets overnight, but if you practice, you'll get them over time. And if you go through it and see how someone's taught it, then you can begin to teach it to the people within your organization, where it becomes even more crystallized in your mind. And then you're teaching your key people, who then can teach their key people, and continue this process of bringing in the mindset and the skill set to help people have greater success. On page 47, we have a great quote from John Maxwell. A leader is one who knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way. He must be a Star Wars fan. So again, if you don't know the way, there's no way that you're going to show the way, because you can't go the way. If you want to be that, that C person who's growing a really large synergy business, then there's an investment that you need to make in this whole process of being able to get the skill set and the mindset to help you with your success. Page 53, blunt, to the point. This line down here I want to read. Your productivity determines your paycheck. We have experienced and believe the time-tested adage, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Now, one of the things that they do up here above that is they help a person to understand path A, user, path B, sharer, path C, business builder. Again, your productivity determines your pathway. And then when they come down on page 54, what they do is they help people understand the three components to building your synergy business. Those three components are marketing, because it's marketing. All marketing is sharing with people what you're doing. Whether you're marketing products, whether you're marketing the business opportunity, or whether you're marketing both, if you don't market, people will not know what you're doing. Supporting is supporting those that have joined you, whether it's supporting your customers to make sure that your customers have success on the synergy products, or supporting your distributors so that your distributors have success in building their synergy business. And then there's administration, the paperwork that's involved in your synergy business. And what they try and help you understand is 40% of your time needs to be spent in marketing. 40% of your time needs to be spent in supporting, and 20% of your time needs to be spent in administration. Most people fall into the trap of spending 90% of their time in administration and 10% of their time in everything else. If you do that, you're not going to do the things that are necessary to be successful to whatever path you've decided to be, whether it be path A, path B, or path C. whether it be 3 to 5 hours per week, or 10 to 20 hours per week, or 20 to 40 hours. If I'm going to be successful on a path A, then 40% of my time, basically, if I'm going to take 4 hours, I got to make sure that at least 2 of those hours are going to be spent in marketing, and at least an hour to an hour and a half is spent in following up on my customers. And then the other time is just paperwork. Or if I want path B, again, I've got to make sure that 40% of my time, so at least 4 to 6 hours, is going to be spent, I should say 4 to 8 hours, is going to be spent in marketing. And the other 4 to 8 hours is spent in following up, whether it be with my customers, making sure that they're having a good experience. Hey, is there anyone else that you know, now that you've lost 20 pounds and they're beginning to ask you what you're doing? Do you think any of them would be interested in doing what you're doing? Or now that you've seen such remarkable improvements in your blood pressure, anyone else in your family that has high blood pressure? Or now that you've seen that your blood sugar is stabilized and you're feeling so much better, you've seen a whole bunch of improvements in your circulation, your skin tone's better, everything that about you is better. Any other diabetics in your family that we could help? But you wouldn't know that unless you spent time following up with your customers or the business builders that have joined you, and how you can help them with their synergy business. And how are you going to help them in their synergy business? By helping your distributors spend 40% of their time marketing and 40% of their time following up on the people who've joined them, either customers or distributors, and helping those individuals be successful to whatever they've chosen to do. And then the last thing that they have in this presentation or in this document is what I call distractions, because we live in a distracted world. Our cell phones are a distraction. I see it all the time. I see it more with what I call the younger generation, but I see it in older generation too. People are on the cell phone all the time. They're scrolling, scrolling, scrolling. Instead of paying attention to their kids, they're on their phone scrolling. And it's a distraction. So this part of the document gives you good advice on how to begin to minimize, because you're not going to get rid of all the distractions, but how you can minimize the distractions so that you can spend the time that you've dedicated properly in helping you to grow your synergy business. So that's the document. I'll make sure that this gets put up onto our synergy family. And do I have anyone that has any questions or comments with regards to anything that I've shared today?
Yes, Dan. Timothy here.
Hey, Timothy.
I've got a question and then I want to say something. Sometime in the 90s, I sat in a Brian Tracy, Jim Rohn class.
Sure.
And each of us had to stay up and say, what is our greatest fear? I think this came from page 6.
Mm-hmm.
And then Jim said, whatever is your greatest fear is keeping you back from being successful. Whatever is your greatest fear, whether it's telephone company, whether it's telephone answering calls, returning calls, that is your greatest hindrance in your business. And the question is, where can you find this document?
Sure. So you can see the URL up here. It will be in the Tuesday newsletter that will come out on Tuesday, that you can click on it, go right to this document. Plus, I'll put this document into our synergy family. And I'm not quite sure where I might put it in 2 locations, but once I'll know that by Tuesday, and then I'll also make that information available on the Tuesday newsletter that goes out.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome, Timothy. Appreciate your insight. Anyone else? Edward, thank you for your comment in the chat. Appreciate that. Anyone else with any questions or comments before we say goodbye?
This is Judy, Dan, and this is an amazing document that Synergy is providing for us. And it's something that if it's not in the welcome package for Synergy Worldwide, it should be our responsibility as leaders to include it in our welcome email or letter or discussion, and to be able to help people go through this document and see where their challenges are, because this is really outlined extremely well. One of the comments that I would have about questioning and reframe is that in my training, the reframing actually would use an open-ended question. So instead of just changing the words to a yes or no question, it would be a question that would make the people think and be able to give an answer that comes from their heart, not just yes or no. So those are my comments.
No, I appreciate that, Judy. And see, again, I wish going into the future as things begin to get back to normal, it would be great if Synergy Worldwide would actually teach this, whether it be through a online Zoom presentation, where they do it on a weekly basis. We're going to do, going back to this page here, there's basically 9 chapters, but chapter 9 is just like, okay, welcome to the end of the thing, and let's have some success here. So this could be like an 8-week course that Synergy Worldwide could do on a Wednesday night, and they could do it by Zoom, and they could take it, and then people could read the chapter, do the work ahead of time, come back, and then you discuss it through leadership. I mean, to me, this would just be a great way to help us in North America use this great tool that they've created. But a tool is no good if it just sits there and no one knows about it. Edward asked here, I may have missed it, where do you find this booklet? Well, it's in your back office. If you go to downloads and check, and you click on USA, United States, it's hidden in the information. I only found this about a month ago because I was looking for information to be able to do for a couple of our Saturday presentation. I stumbled across this, and when I began to read through this, I'm going, this is fantastic. This is the type of training that Synergy Worldwide needs to be structuring on an ongoing basis to help people be successful, just like you talked about, Judy. And then if you're doing this where it's on a weekly basis, or you're doing it on a weekend in a seminar like Bodywise International did when I was involved with them, then you can have the group situations where, Judy, you could go and make that suggestion. Those are great ways of reframing your question. But I've found from experience of an open-ended question gets even more engaging with that individual, because you're looking for them to give more than a yes or no answer. And so you help begin to, one, maybe change the way that the instructor begins to teach and continues to teach that section. Plus, it's an online document that they can go in and begin to do additional modifications, that as they go through the training process, they can also begin to do evaluation. What is working well? What are people really accepting? Where are things that we can improve our document on? So this ongoing process of doing and refining just would go a long way to helping the distributor base here in North America continue to grow their ability to be successful in opening up North America to Synergy Worldwide. As far as has Synergy restarted the weekly and monthly corporate meetings and or calls, they have a calendar. You can go to the blog. Again, maybe they send it out on an email. I never get anything unless you go to the blog and look at the calendar. You won't know, but they do have at least a monthly corporate meeting call, but they don't have a weekly one.
Yeah.
Anyone else with any questions or comments before we say goodbye?
Dan, this is
Hey,
David.
Dan, it's Donald.
Go ahead, Donald.
No, Dave, I give it to you.
Oh, thank you. Basically, I just wanted to say thank you, Dan, for the presentation. Learned a lot. I'm so happy that you found this resource for us. I can see there's a lot of nuggets that I could pull out of it and learn and apply myself and, of course, share. But I just wanted to make sure, did you say it was under downloads, under images and videos, or sales tools?
It should be under downloads. And then that comes to a page that shows all the countries that are involved in Synergy Worldwide. If you click on US,
right,
then it's, I can't remember exactly because then you see all the different folders that Synergy Worldwide has. And I can't remember which folder it's in.
No,
but
not
I
a
think,
problem.
I think
I'm going to look for it, Dan.
Yeah, I think it's in policies and oh gosh, you can't.
I think it's booklets and brochures.
You can try there first. Yes, go there first.
Yeah, and I'll look around for it.
Yeah, and then you'll see it.
Yeah.
Path to Prosperity Workbook.
What is the title? Path. Okay, found it. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Path
under
to
booklets and brochures under US. And yes, I have it. Synergy Path to Prosperity. Thank you, Dan.
You're welcome.
Thanks, David. Thanks, Dan. And what a nugget and a find. There are, I've been in network marketing who had similar material, but this is nice, pretty exhaustive. When I got your email, I went looking for it, and I found it just where Dave said he did. In fact, I downloaded it to my desktop, so I'll have it printed so I can have a hard copy of it. But a awesome tool.
It is. Thank you, Donald.
So thanks for sharing it.
You're welcome.
It's good stuff.
You're welcome. All right. Anything else before we say goodbye? All right. I want to thank everyone for your time today. We are going to be looking at our product of choice next Saturday. Got something else in the You're welcome. Thank you, Edward. We're going to be looking at our product of choice next Saturday, ProArts 9 Plus. And then the following Saturday, Bob and Judy will be doing their leadership development. And then the last Saturday of this month, I'll be sharing a new video that I put up. It is branded to me, but the information is just outstanding with regards to nitric oxide, L-arginine, and cognitive function. And you're going to begin to understand how those L-arginine and nitric oxide really improve cognitive function, even for people with Alzheimer's disease. Thank you, everyone. See you next Saturday. Bye-bye.